Hello, Steve. Hello, Joe. It's time to game classy.
The recording is in progress.
Yes, it is. Is it spooky out by you? Is it all spooky and stormy?
Oh yeah, dog. It is fucking going.
It's going.
It is fucking
It's
going. Yeah, there's a lot of thundering. So yeah, if I suddenly vanish, it's most definitely because my power went out.
I mean, there's a possibility of that. We've been actually pretty good at this house with the power loss. We only had, I think, one blackout, and that was like last year. So we've been pretty lucky. I'd like to thank little baby Jesus for making us so lucky today.
We lost. We haven't lost power for a long time. We've lost power a couple times, but it's never been very long.
McFly, you bojo. You can't go on water. You need power.
You've got no power.
I want to tell you about my my excellent pickup today that I did for gaming. My gaming pickup.
I'm ready for your gaming pickup.
So you know the Wandering Dragon, right, down in Plainfield?
Mm-hmm.
They had their 10th anniversary sale today, and the entire store was 50% off.
Nice.
That's a ridiculous price. I mean,
yeah, that's a good deal.
I mean, you can't even get GW discount at 50% off. Like the staff doesn't even get 50% discount.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh man, do you remember back in the day when you could buy shit by weight?
I was actually in line talking to a guy, and we were just, bullshitting. He had some GW stuff. I ended up buying 3 Warcry box sets, and not just like the individual war bands, but I got like Red Harvest, Beasts of Gur, or the 3 big box sets that they have. I got.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you planning to put them in your pile of other stuff you're never going to touch?
I will probably do these because I am a big fan of Warcry, and I really want to focus on Warcry as a game.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, it's a good game to focus on. It's a fucking great game.
Yeah, I think, like, as I've said, it's like the games that I truly focus on are like 30K and Warcry, because those are the games I really enjoy the most playing. I will probably do some stuff for Old World, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but yeah. But the 50% off. So I got the 3 box sets, and I got the Call of Cthulhu, the new Keeper's Manual, and some D&D stuff. So I spent about a good $400.
Nice.
But I mean, it was like the place was packed. The line to get in was ridiculous, and the line to check out was ridiculous. That was insane. But
I mean, I could see it. That's one of the craziest sales I've ever heard of in a game store. So
I know. Tell me about it. And I actually so I was talking with the guy, and we were talking about discount, and I was like, yeah, 50% off is ridiculous. I mean, GW employees can even get that. And I was saying, like, I used to be an employee, and back when I was an employee, it was like, what, 10 cents per ounce? Something.
Yeah,
like
buying by weight was insane. I remember like a couple Skaven slave armies. I think someone mathed it out. Like if you bought by weight, you could get, like, the discount was actually beyond insane. Like when you did the by weight.
Oh yeah, totally. It's the one thing I will say about GW with the buying by weight was that it really allowed the employees, who are supposed to be like the ambassadors of cool for the store, to do cool stuff. Like, you couldn't do half the cool shit we did without that discount. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I would have never, like, there would have never been that army that was bought. It was fucking like 1,000 Skaven slaves. It was like it was the maximum amount of Skaven slaves you could fit in 2,500 points, and they were all metal.
I mean, everyone did, like, I'm gonna do the undead high elf army, or I'm gonna do the undead empire army.
Oh yeah, because you could buy all the sprues and stuff. Yeah, it made sense.
It did. It really did, because it was fun. It was just like a fun way of promoting the hobby.
Yeah, the discount made sense, because I mean, GW still wasn't really losing any money. They were probably still making money, actually. Yeah. And you got your employees to advertise the coolest looking armies.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the coolest idea of a good looking army. Most Games Workshop employees couldn't paint shit. Uh,
Maybe I was spoiled by the bunker because everyone at the bunker painted pretty well.
yeah, we were the best of the best, sir. We were the best of the best.
That's true. We even had the special shirts.
We did have the special shirt. I wish I kept a special shirt.
Oh, man.
I think I gave all of mine back.
I don't know what happened to mine,
Or at least a red shirt. I wish I would have kept a red shirt.
I don't know what happened to mine. I actually, did I ever tell you I sold my little red book on eBay?
Oh yeah, how much did you get for that?
$400.
400? Really? Wow.
I got $400.
I still got mine.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how high it went. I was like, holy shit! I put it up, I put it up for $50.
Yeah, I wish I would have had my my 10 Commandments card still though. I still stand by the 10 Commandments as one of the.
That was the best customer service training that exists. The 10 Commandments of customer service, no question.
No question in my mind. I mean, Games Workshop does a lot of crazy bad shit all around the place, but the 10 Commandments, like learning how to be a salesman through those 10 Commandments was the best thing I've ever learned in my life.
Yeah, I mean I'm actually kind of surprised that I've never seen any other company adopt, because it's not like Games Workshop is some fucking unknown company. They're a fucking monster. Like everyone knows Games Workshop. You know what I mean? That's not like they're an obscure company. So I'm really surprised that no other company has copied that like.
Well, it's not
system.
It's not super popular with the customers because customers always do make fun of the fact that Games Workshop employees will jump down their throat the second they walk in a store. But
I mean, that's true, but that's good though.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, because going into some places like I was at a there was this little not a resale shop, but it was like a hobby. It's weird, but they were it's like a Pokemon store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not too far. You probably have been there. This guy buys and sells baseball cards and Pokemon cards and all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
I walked in there with my son and I just wanted to ask him about, I had some old trading cards. I was like, hey, you interested in these? The guy didn't even look at me. He was talking on the phone the entire time. Didn't even acknowledge that I walked in the store. And I was like, I mean, I'm not like saying like, you just lost a customer, sir. But it's like, come on. Like, at least be like, hey, man, I'll be with you in just a second.
I mean,
that's all I needed.
Yep. I mean, that's the rule. Greet.
The bare minimum.
You got to greet. That's the first one.
Yeah. Was acknowledge all customers who walk in the store.
I can't remember the acronym, but it was good.
It was like a BSB.
Yeah, it was like a big I made up a funny word for it.
Something like that.
Yeah, I made up a funny word for it.
PEMDAS or something. I don't remember. It was like the same thing you used for like multiplication and division.
Yes. But yeah, no, theirs were really good.
Yeah,
acknowledge. It was acknowledged. That was that was the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you, still I hear that little chime from the door, and I still turn my head if I'm ever ignoring. Yeah, it's weird Pavlovian training at this point.
It was abs bepedmas.
Yeah, something like that.
Bepedmas. Yeah, because it was acknowledge. It was be aware, show enthusiasm, promote the hobby.
Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Show courtesy. I remember that. Those. I think.
Yeah. It's...
Yeah. I can't remember the rest of them, but those were definitely some of them. And then there was the customer rank too.
Yeah.
The customer rank is not how important you are as a customer. It was how to treat you as a customer. So like initiate, which was totally brand new, that like get that person a fucking demo and try and get them to buy a starter set. Then there was the novice, which was they have a starter set, so get them into, what did we call it? The painting club, the painting classes. Then there's the core, which is like they're a game. They play like Warhammer Fantasy. So those guys you want to talk to about not Warhammer Fantasy. You want to try and get them to buy other games.
No way, dude. Warhammer Fantasy for life.
And then there was
Cetra doesn't kneel.
Cetra doesn't kneel. Doesn't kneel. And then I can't remember what the last Danger. And then of course Danger was my favorite. Danger was the ones that were like they're the guys who come in and start shit. Those are the ones where you have to ask them to leave or get security involved.
Security. There was no security.
Well, by security, I meant you just asked him to take care of it.
I'm gonna need a manager up here.
Yeah, we need a manager. That was security.
Yeah,
We didn't. We actually. I don't. I think we only ever had like 2 people we had to ask to leave.
Yeah.
One was permanently banned. The other was just asked to leave that day until he cooled down.
Yeah. Well, no, there was a couple because I remember there was the one kid who put swastikas mid trees, turned all the tree stands into total swastikas.
Yeah. So, well, I meant like of like non-rando shitters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because that kid was a rando shit. There's plenty of rando shitters. We had to kick out. But I meant like of the regulars, like the guys we saw a lot. I only remember like 2 guys that we had to like boot.
Well,
not counting the randos.
The problem it was that we were next to one of the premier laser tag establishments in the Chicagoland area.
We were, yeah. That was
I'm sad that place is closed.
Oh yeah, I mean, who plays laser tag anymore?
Video
games are way cooler than laser tag these days.
No way, sir. Laser tag outshines any video game. What are you gonna do? Oh, I'm using my graphical interface to get an AR-14 or whatever, and the bounce back isn't great. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there like charging kids with a bayonet charge.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about assaulting children, yeah, I mean that's better than video games.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I'm gonna sit in my beanbag chair with eating Doritos. No way, sir. I'm out there like gaining the points by attacking their base.
It's funny. There's totally fucking random aside, but I saw this movie called Vivarium. It was good. I recommend it. It was on Netflix. It was fucking weird.
Was that the one with
Jesse Eisenberg?
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, where they're like in a suburb.
Yes.
That movie was about like a half hour too long.
It was a little too long, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, I remember. I saw that. I mean, yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I just enjoyed it. It was a weird movie. I was a fan.
Yeah, what did I just watch? Oh, I watched the finale of Joe Bob this season. They did Day of the Dead, which is the classic. The classic Joe Pilato vehicle, Day of the Dead.
Bub? Good old Bub?
Yeah. I like, what's a fucking monkey house? Or so. I can't remember the line he says in there. It's a great movie. And but the one he did before was The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, I think is what its name was. It had a couple names, but that was the one. It was a British Night of the Living Dead ripoff. Well, I shouldn't even say British. It was like an Italian Spanish co-production that they filmed in Britain. Mm-hmm. But it was actually really good. I was like, this is kind of a really good sequel to Night of the Living Dead, like an international version of a sequel for Night of the Living Dead that's non-Italian. Zombie or Zombie 2.
Zombie 2. The gross
Zombie 2 and Zombie 3.
That fucking eye scene.
I can't stand those Italian movies like that. They're just not good.
No, it's not good. Usually the only good thing about them is their soundtrack, because they usually have like Goblin doing it or something, and it's just like nice fucking
it's just
shit.
You know what I don't like? I don't like the post-production dubbing. I can't deal with it. It's always bothered me on every level with Italian films.
It is really weird.
I mean, but the funny thing is, it's like I could deal with dubbing in most foreign films. It's just in Italian films, it's like an aesthetic. I can't handle. It's
because it's done really badly. it's like you can obviously tell it's weird because people sound like what was it? I watched one. Fuck, what did I watch recently? It was on Joe Bob. There was a kid. And he was one of the worst dubbed fucking kids I've ever heard in my fucking life.
I know which one you're talking about.
So fucking bad, dude. It was so bad it like almost actually ruined the film. It was fucking terrible. If I can remember what it is. But yeah, it was unbelievably bad. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But you know, that was the interesting note. That was just an Italian, like, I mean, sure, you know, but anyone listening might not know. That was just an Italian movie thing, not an Italian horror movie thing. It was not movies that were specifically made to air in the United States from Italy. Literally every Italian movie was made like that.
Yeah, it was just the way that they could shoot and not have to worry about, the sound, because they were just going to do it later.
Yeah,
it was just
the only ones that got away
literally
with
cut out
Westerns.
sound guys. So
spaghetti westerns are the only ones that I can stand that have that.
I mean, there are some movies that are okay with it. I'm just like, I kind of like. I think it's just the fact that you could tell people are using different languages.
Yeah.
So it's like the mouth movements don't. sometimes they do match with what they're saying, and that throws it off. I think that's what it is. Not 100% sure on that.
The fucking guy that got dubbed in the Elvira sequel is really funny because he couldn't speak any English, so he was just delivering his lines in like Czech or whatever. And then they just dubbed him over with the dude speaking English. That was pretty funny.
All right, let's talk about some gaming stuff.
All right.
First thing before I forget, I did play around with Army Painter and Vallejo speed paints.
Oh yeah?
Yes, only the metallics.
I'm a big fan of the metallics. All of the metallic speed paints I've used so far, I'm a fan of.
So the Army Painter ones, kind of nice. Not great, but they kind of work just like the speed paint, like contrast paints do.
Yeah, I think they're a great thing to you just like you slap it on there and then you just do a wash and you're good.
The Vallejo ones, holy shit. They are the best things I've ever used in my life. Like, I don't even use regular metallics anymore, Steve. I all the GW metallics, I don't use. I only use Vallejo speed paints now.
The Vallejo Express metal is that good, huh?
It literally, it's not even like it doesn't work like a contrast. It literally works just like paint. Like you just paint it on and it's there. And it's so unbelievably good. The gunmetal, I put it on. You could put it over white, and it's perfect. Perfect, Steve.
No shit. All right.
Yeah,
I'll have to give it a shot.
Yeah, and it's rich and deep and colorful.
All right. That's really good because I used the Vallejo Express regular colors, and they're fine. Like I like so far all of the speed paints. I don't know. Like I know like everyone says like, oh, this was like oh, contrast is better. Like, oh, speed paint. So far I have found that basically all of the speed paint like variants from the companies are about the same. But the metallics, this sounds like this is a different thing.
Oh yeah, it's not like a speed paint. It's not what I would call a contrast or a speed paint. It is okay. It is the Uber paint.
Oh yeah, that's good. I mean, that's good to know because I used the Express and like the Express is good, and I found so far my not complaint, but like the biggest thing I can say about all the speed paints of every brand is, again, like most other things, I think the combinations are the best because you can get colors from each brand that other companies don't offer. Like speed paints, obviously, like trying to do like we're cheaper contrast. So like there's not a ton of unique speed paint colors specifically, but there's a few. And then there's some unique Express from Vallejo. There's unique contrast. Those are the only ones there's another one. There's one other company that's making a speed paint. I can't remember what it is because I do remember. I can't remember what the company's name is, but I do remember their delivery system because their jars are fucking massive. That was the one. That was the one thing.
Sure,
that was
it's
the
not
one.
Coat to Arms.
It's not Coat to Arms. No. Fuck. I'll try and look it up and but their bottles are fucking huge. Like they're the biggest fucking
huge.
They're huge. Yeah, they're
huge if true.
Gigantic.
Huge if true.
Huge if true. I can't fucking remember. But yeah, no, I've used them all. I'm a fan. I look forward to using these Express metallics then. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the gunmetal. I played with a couple of different colors and they're all like that. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if it's like, are these designed this way? But no, they're really good.
All right, nice. Yeah, I mean they're good. I really like all the speed paints. I find that the one thing that really does seem to make a difference, in my opinion, really is doing the Zenithal Prime.
Zenithal. I am Zenithal, the leader.
I have found it's very good. Alternatively, you can do what I call the not shitty slap chop, where you don't start with a fucking black primer. I still don't know why everyone starts like I think that's the one thing that pisses me off about slap chop is that why are you starting with black primer? Like don't start. Like if you want to do that, if you want to start from black primer, you have to do actual engrisai. You actually have to blend up your grays. Otherwise it looks fucking dog shit when you're done. Like it just looks terrible.
Well, yeah, I think my feelings on slap chop have been spoken on record.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't agree with the starting in black. Like it just doesn't look good unless you're specifically painting engrisai, which is actually painting. Like that's actually doing like layering and blending, and then just using speed paint to like rapid fire your colors.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
but I've done it from when I did it from a kind of like dark gray. I sprayed a dark gray, and then I did some dry brushing with like various like lighter grays into a bone. And then I did a wash over that, and it ended up looking quite nice because the shadow, because the problem with the like popularized version and why I dislike it is because it starts over black. When you have the areas where like your dry brushing doesn't really hit very well, because it's just going to happen, it looks so weird because it's clearly like black, and it's off-putting to me. Like when I see like the colors,
This is off-putting to me.
it is. I'm like, this is off-putting. I don't like it. I do not like this. But if you start with a gray and you work up that way, when you finally get to your colors, your washes, when it hits the shadow, it doesn't look black. It just looks like a darker version of your color.
Yeah.
That's my advice. If you want to do slap chop, I do condone it, but I do not condone the popular method. That's my statement on it.
I don't condone it at all, because I'm a snob.
I mean, I also think it's like the other thing that I do think it's kind of odd, because it's really like it's actually more work because I did it like now I've like actually, because I wanted to see, like I was like, I'm gonna see what the fuck is deal. Now that I've done it, it really just seems like you're doing more work to make your models look kind of like not as good as if you just did a bright primer and a neatly painted speed paint.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's the thing that's just odd to me. It's just like I've seen models that are literally just white primer and then very neatly painted speed paint, and I think that just looks better than slap chop, and it's less work because you're just painting the speed paint on once. You're not doing any dry brushing. It's just being neat with your speed paints. So I don't know. I think it's odd that it's like a popular thing because it doesn't look as good.
It's because a bunch of yahoos on YouTube said it's a thing, and so people who are all like, YouTube, this guy said it on YouTube, must be true. It's on YouTube. I have to put it on my painting channels because it helps me not paint my figures. No, I legit have a theory that people get the same that people are so afraid of painting their own minis because they think they're going to screw it up. They watch YouTube painters because it gives them almost the good chemicals in their brain that you get from painting a figure.
I see.
It's like watching someone play a video game. It's like, well, I don't have to put any effort into it, but I'm getting the good chemicals, so it's okay.
It's also cheaper. You don't have to buy all you don't have to buy all the new games. And I've remembered and found the ones that the giant ones that it's the dipping inks from Green Stuff World. They're in 60.
Oh, okay, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, they're in 60 mil bottles. They're huge.
Huge. Bunch of Spaniards.
They're also quite good. The dipping inks, they're quite good from Green Stuff World. I recommend them as well. They're just another one that's good.
Those Spanish, they know.
Yeah, they're the not even like a drawback, but like the only like negative thing I would say about their line is that they don't have as many colors as the other companies. Like that's kind of like their only drawback to the dipping inks line from Green Stuff World. They don't, but they sell them in these awesome packs you can buy as well, which are like tonal colors. So like it's like the set one, it's like all like greens and blue greens. So like when you like if you use just that
verde azul.
Yeah, if you use just that box, you get a very consistent looking color scheme, which is cool.
Mundo de cosas verdes.
Yes, Mundo de cosas verdes. Hi, soles.
I still have a bunch of the rollers. I really like the rollers.
Rollers.
So let's pivot to the big news that at least you and I are excited about, which is the new Old World Development Diary, which actually gave us a shit ton of information.
It did, an absolute shit ton. I'm very excited. I'm very pleased. Basically everything I've heard, I'm very happy with.
Yeah. So to give it kind of a overview, it sounds like this is a natural progression from 8th edition, that the rule set. So it looks like it's like what I say is that if 8th edition had continued on to 9th edition, this is kind of what 9th edition would have been.
I think this is probably like actually like a theoretical 10th edition, to be honest with you, because it seems like they cut out the like that middle edition where there was going to be some growing pains, because it really seems like they've. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the actual rules, but just judging by what they said and how stuff is going to work, it really sounds like they hammered out a lot of the like actual serious flaws that Warhammer.
What if they called it Warhammer the 10th Age just to piss off 9th Age fans?
That would be fucking great. That would be so good.
I agree. Like just a bunch of like butthurt people going, yeah.
Oh, they'd be so mad.
They would be so mad.
Yeah. They also confirmed that if you look at the pictures too, every base is one size up except for regular cav bases, which are still normal.
So like, well, but let's go into let's dissect this instead of just jumping around.
Yeah.
First things first. You do get the units are not like standard size. You still get the ability to make your units any size that you want, any size frontage, which leads to the second part, which is every model in the front can attack.
Yeah, so the rules encourage a wide frontage for your unit.
So if your 10-man frontage hits a flank with one rank, you got 10 guys versus 1.
Yep, all 10 of your guys are going to fucking shot.
Which I love, because you know what that eliminates? That eliminates a lot of that like repositioning. It's like, well, this guy can attack this guy and this guy, but this guy can't attack this guy. It's like, nope.
A lot of sliding and like a lot of fiddly bits immediately go out the window with that.
Yes, which was an issue I had.
Yeah, it was annoying. It was especially when you got like the really weird like charges that like if it was lined up, you would have you would win the fight, but because it lined up in a weird way because of positioning, you actually end up losing the fight that you charged, because it's like, oops, only 2 guys touched.
Now let me say this. We do know that there's no longer going to be 25s. They're going 20s. They're going up to 25s.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Regular cav bases look the same, but I don't think 25s are moving up any bigger.
So the
because 25s were like orcs run 25s, and
yeah, I don't know. I can't tell yet, because there's only one picture of
the
orcs,
OGs. Yeah. And
they look like they're on 25s maybe.
Yeah.
But that's just the regular orcs. We need to see more on that one.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think the trolls are still on 40s if I'm correct on that. They might be on 50s, but I think it's a 40.
I really hope that maybe the orcs are just on 25, like regular orcs are just on 25s, but like your bigger orcs, like black orcs and stuff, will be on 30s,
maybe,
like, or bigger. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. Just because like stuff like Chaos Warriors or any of those like units that were just the fucking the bitchiest fucks to rank.
Yeah,
like I don't. They just need a bigger base. That's all they need, because you put the Chaos Warriors on one little bit size base bigger, suddenly they're fucking the easiest thing in the rank. You don't need to have a goddamn number guide system on the bottom of your units, which I had for my Chaos Army.
Oh yeah, you had to. So
yeah,
that way
it's like this guy's got to be this. These guys have to be in this order, otherwise they don't fit in the movement train.
So yeah, I think that the big interesting thing is that the frontage attack, every model in the front attacks.
Yep. And then the ranks is just like players, your ideal number of ranks is determined by the player. They're just like, do whatever. That's like as many models as possible in fight and combat. So any models that are in the fighting rank, fight, period. Doesn't matter, which is good. So I assume that means spears are going to be fucking phenomenal, because presumably that means you'll have 2 full ranks. So a 10-man frontage will be huge.
Wow, I don't think anybody would really do a 10-man frontage. That's kind of on the ridiculous end.
On shitters, I would do it. I would do a 10-man frontage of like goblins or skeletons.
Okay, yeah, okay, maybe. But the only skeletons you're going to get are your Tomb Kings, and those don't really get the regen like the vampires.
I'll probably want to actually do archers for my skeleton warriors.
Ooh, look at Mr. Fancy Pants here with his archers.
I'm going to use my archers.
I'm taking a Lamian, and she's going to give me a poison ass sparrow.
That's right. Doing my archers, they're going to shoot poison at you, and we've got a little catapult too. Better watch out. The skulls are screaming. That's terror tests.
Oh, they're screaming. They're screaming.
They're
well,
screaming.
we don't know how, if terror or fear are going to stick around.
We have no idea. They did not mention anything about psychology. They did mention the next thing though, which is breaking the enemy, which is kind of like psychology.
So you and I are differing on this a little bit. You think it's
Yeah.
going to be like the Middle Earth, because it says that instead of running all the time or anything like that,
Yeah, they'll give ground reluctantly
they
rather
give
than
ground.
immediately breaking and fleeing, while the winner can advance to press their advantage.
So so you're thinking it's going to be like Middle Earth battle strategy.
Yeah, where you bump away.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more of you. If you lose combat but pass your leadership test, you have to you move back a couple inches, probably like D3 inches or something like that. If you lose and fail, you're still gonna run.
I see.
That's what I'm thinking it's gonna be.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Because I think that would make it a little bit more interesting with losing combat. Because before, if it's just like, well, I passed my leadership test, all right, we're just gonna keep fighting. And how's that gonna work with like unbreakable units or stubborn units? How's that gonna look?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? They didn't mention psychology, so maybe Unbreakable and Stubborn won't be in the game, or they'll be completely different.
They're gonna wait till the last minute to drop anything on psychology because everybody knows that this game is gonna be made or broken on psychology.
Yeah, I mean that was one thing. I mean, I like the mechanics of psychology, but the problem is, and what killed the older editions was like psychology was this huge part of the game, but all of the best armies were the best armies because they ignored it.
Yeah, it's psychology is one of those things that really works in theory, but once the rubber hits the road, it's there's all over.
Too many armies were immune to psychology, and like too many armies could completely negate it, so it really created a wacky imbalance. But like when I played like Orcs and Goblins versus Empire, it was like, oh, this game works, like it's totally functional. Then you play Orcs and Goblins versus like, I don't know, a demon army, and you're like, oh, this game doesn't work at all. This game is completely fucking broken.
This game doesn't work at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So so we'll see. I mean, I think the easiest thing to do is just make shit fucking, like, the biggest problem with a lot of the Unbreakable stuff is they didn't make them crumble. Like everything that's unbreakable needs to crumble. Yeah, that's how it has to work.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the skeletons don't pass their leadership test, or they fail combat. Okay, you lost leadership by 4 of your guys disappear. Great mechanic.
Yeah, it's very good. And if you followed fantasy a lot, you know that like skeleton armies were never the ones that were like breaking the game, like because of their unbreakableness, because you could beat them in combat. They would lose more models, and like they try and bog you down, but it wasn't like a demon army where like you get where you flank charge a unit of flesh hounds and you like kill one and then lose the combat. Yeah. So that's so we'll see, but that's the next thing. So I don't think it's going to be a normal there's gonna be some sort of like difference to units like leaving combat, and I think it's just gonna be bumping.
Bumping sounds interesting because I know that that's a mechanic that they use and they own, and they want to use mechanics that they own. But I also think I think it makes more sense for just like a 3-inch pushback as opposed to a like a simple bump, because I think that would cause more problems.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see. I mean, there could be different. I mean, it could even be a mix of both. It could be something where like if you pass your leadership test, you slide back a little bit, and then you do exactly what you said. And if you fail the leadership test, then you still slide back, so your unit doesn't like run away and like break and like leave the battlefield, but it just goes farther away. Yeah.
I mean, it could. I still think that they're going to have units breaking, because I don't think the game works without unit breaking.
Yeah, it has to have some sort of. I mean, we'll see. I mean, who fucking knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
And the next thing.
And then finally, they have magic. They're changing up magic, which is a pretty big deal from what they're saying. Is that magic phase is no more. Kind of like in 40K, how they got rid of the psychic phase. They have gotten rid of the magic phase finally. This is the part where it makes me really feel like this is like a 9th/10th edition, because that would have been the move, is getting rid of the magic phase.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. So it says the single spell is not going to be able to decide the fate of battle. They said it should be rare.
So I can't take my Comet of Cassandora.
there's not going to be dice pools and there's not going to be cards
Thank
for
God.
wizards. So they confirmed that there's no magic pool. And this is why I was saying 10th edition, because 9th edition would have probably used a magic pool again. And then 10th edition, they'd be like, actually, magic pools do suck, so we're not going to do that.
I mean, yeah, it could very well be.
It says every spell available to the wizard will have a significant impact in the battle if cast at the right place at the right time. And it says wizard positioning is what's going to matter the most, which I find very intriguing, especially if they're going to be at different times. And of course, you need to be close to other wizards to counter their spells. So my guess is that wizards are going to have like fireball. Like fireball will be like in the shooting phase.
Fireball.
Yes, in the shooting phase, this wizard can blah blah blah, and then like
I cast burning hands.
I cast burning hands.
You put like a lighter right up at the guy's model. He's like, knock that off.
Yeah. I summon a dread beast. You throw a cat on the table.
Huzzah! I'm thinking personally, this is where another thing that you and I differ on. I think it's going to work a little bit like Horus Heresy reactions, where it's like you get probably like you take your wizard and you get 2 types of like magic spells that you could use per phase. So like there's like a magic phase spells, there's battle phase spells, and then there's like a shooting phase spells.
Yeah, I think that's just like AOS. It's like you cast you cast the spell during like, or you do the reactions in like it tells you what phase you can do each thing. So it's probably going to be like that.
I mean, it could very well be. It's like they'll give you like here's your lore of fart, and in the according to the lore of farts, you can only use this spell during the shooting phase.
That's right,
sort of thing. So
we are the lords of fart.
I'm the master of the 13th, the 9th college, the lore of farts.
The lord of farts.
Oh, and that's why we get a cease and desist. So yeah, that was the big thing, and that's interesting to me. That's very, very, very interesting.
So I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, I really am too. I'm just kind of excited to have a mass battle game back.
Yeah, I mean, and once not Kings of War, I like Kings of War. I think is a fine game, but like it doesn't scratch the same itch.
No, it doesn't, and I think it's because of I don't want to say the IP, but it's kind of, I think, the IP.
Yeah, to me, it's less the IP. It's more like, for me, it's really the mechanics. Because like Kings of War is like, it's fun. It's a good game. But like the thing about Kings of War is there's nothing that really makes it a mass combat game. And I know that sounds kind of weird because every picture Kings of War has a ton of models. And yeah, you buy a ton of models to play Kings of War. And the armies look awesome. But you could play Kings of War with single figures on big bases.
Yeah, I mean,
there's nothing that actually like makes the like, having 50 guys.
There is something about removing the 1 or 2 guys at a time, like the slow attrition.
Yeah, I think there is something to it. It's odd. It feels it's mouthfeel.
it's the mouthfeel of the game. I wanted to mention before we break just for a second for the switchover, but I do love that. On the second picture on that article, you see the old Warhammer Fortress back.
I know, it's so cool. I love that kit.
And yeah, I have it right in my game room. And if you look in the corner, that's the plastic terrain corner from the Battle of 5 Armies set.
It sure is.
Yeah, that's some old school ice spotting right there.
I mean, I know they will because they're Games Workshop, so they're gonna do it just to fucking spite me. But I like. I don't know, man. I'm really hoping that they would release those old orcs at like a really cheap price.
All right, hold on. I gotta stop because we're running out of time.
All right.
Well, that was a whole thing.
It was an outrage. I mean, what else can we say, right?
I know. I will be abandoning Zoom.
Yes,
abandoning.
Wise.
So in the time that this is going, I just want to ask you, what's your top 5 cryptids?
I really like the giant bird, the Thunderbird. I think it's called the Thunderbird.
Yeah.
I like the huge centipede that shoots electricity in the desert.
The Mongolian deathworm, yes.
Yes, the deathworm. I like the abominable snowman.
Okay. Or Yeti.
I like Mothman. Not,
Okay.
not mostly not because Mothman is just so important to cryptids. I think you got to respect it. You got to put him in your top five. Like,
He's got the cachet.
he's got cachet. Like I mean, you can't like I mean, can you really take someone seriously as a cryptid enthusiast if they don't have Mothman in their top five? I'd say no.
So here's something interesting on the Mothman, because they were last podcast on the left, which is a podcast I listened to, just did a whole thing on the Mothman, and I have to say that the Chicago Mothman is 99. I am 99% sure that it's just sandhill cranes.
Oh, it's absolutely. It's your giant cranes that someone with bad eyesight saw and thought was just
It's not even someone with bad eyesight. I can tell you this as a person who grew up in Chicago, as did you. We are not equipped to handle wild animals. Like, our brain doesn't cognitively think like that. Think about like when the Spanish conquistadors landed in you know the Aztec Empire. The Aztecs had no idea what their boats were because they'd never seen anything like it. So the brain just couldn't comprehend it. People from Chicago, we can't comprehend wild animals. Our brains just can't handle it. Like, if I saw a bear in the wild, I would be like, I don't know what this is because my brain can't handle it.
I actually was I saw some coyotes. They were pretty cool. They were like right by me.
Coyotes just look like dogs. So
I mean, that's true. Yeah. I mean, the weirdest thing I see, or I guess the most exotic animals I see, are deer.
Yeah, it's like, you're
which
like,
I do see a lot of.
Get out of here, you damn garbage dog.
And then my last five, I'm just going to throw it out, or my fifth. I'm just going to throw it out to the concept of sea serpents.
Okay, just sea serpents as a whole.
As a whole, yeah, because I don't think there's any particular like
you're not like Champy, like you're not a big fan of Champy or the Mokele Membe.
Yeah, no, I'm not into like a specific. I'm going with the concept of sea serpents as a whole.
Yeah,
I think that's really cool.
the last podcast put up they said, okay, here's a question for you then. What do you think are the top 5 most well-known cryptids? Like, if you had to do top 5 most well-known.
Bigfoot's number 1.
Okay.
Mothman's number 2.
You think Mothman's number 2? Really?
I think Mothman's number 2.
That's an interesting pick.
I think number 3 is probably do I say Bigfoot was 1, Mothman 2, number 3. What the fuck is it?
Loch Ness Monster.
Oh yes, Nessie, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember
because they went Nessie number 2, which is what I said as well. Like, most well known people are going to know Nessie before Mothman.
I think Nessie's pretty bad. I think Nessie has less cachet than Mothman these days.
Oh.
I think recent times. I would say Mothman has eclipsed Nessie, but Nessie's definitely also top 5 popular. And then what's the other? Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil's probably in the top 5 of known. And then I guess I don't really know. I mean, I guess probably Chupacabra for number 5.
Yeah, that's what they posited. They said the 4 most well known. They said Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, and then they said if you're from the north, you favor Mothman. If you're from the south, you favor the Chupacabra.
Yes.
So that's the way that goes. And then I would say the number 5 would be your favorite regional cryptid. So in our case, in the Chicagoland, you could go Chicago Mothman, because I believe it's a different flavor than the West Virginia Mothman.
Yes, it is. That was the theory postulated, is that it's another Mothman.
Yes. Well, of course, yeah. Or if you're really into it, if you want to go just Illinois area, you can go with either the Enfield Horror, which is a classic, the Mad Gasser of Mattoon.
The Mad Gasser.
It's not really a cryptid so much as it's just a guy who would go and gas people.
Yeah, I mean, you can call me the Mad Gasser sometimes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. There's the
Did you say the Enfield Horror?
Yeah, the Enfield Horror.
Yeah.
The Firebird, the Piazza Firebird. But those are like all like real southern Illinois stuff.
And let's not forget the Lake Michigan sea serpent.
There is no Lake Michigan sea serpent.
I mean, it's a fucking rumored cryptid.
I'm casting doubt.
Well, they never gave it a name.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, there's like, oh yeah, there's a sea serpent in Lake Michigan. No, there's not.
Yeah, they never gave it. They never gave it a name.
The most horrible thing that's ever happened in the Great Lakes is the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. I'll tell you that. And good old Gordo Lightfoot, God rest his soul, wrote the best song that you could ever write about a maritime disaster.
Yes. Oh, and then there's the there's the giant Black Panthers.
Oh yeah, the Black Panthers of Illinois.
Yeah. Which are absolutely 100% real, but they're just not Black Panthers, they're just cougars.
I was actually thinking that they are just more than likely cats that were kept as pets and then released.
Yeah, I think they were either that or they were cougars that were seen late at night and people thought they were panthers. Because cougars are fucking huge and scary.
Well, that's what I say about like the sandhill cranes is like if you've ever seen, like, I'm a Chicago boy. I live out in, when I was at my old house, which I was out in the far west suburbs, I was at the last bastion of civilization before you hit corn. There was a sandhill crane outside my house one time and I lost my shit. I was like, holy fuck. What is that thing? What is that thing? It's so big.
Yeah,
it's like a dinosaur.
Yeah, they're so cool. And then you could absolutely, like, when you see them flying in flight, you can absolutely see how someone could mistake them for like a flying person. Yeah. No question. Like they are massive. Well,
my favorite thing is like when they talk about how they don't have heads, is that sandhill cranes, when they have their head kind of like down by their shoulders and their beak down, look like they don't have a head.
Right.
So if you're like seeing them and it's kind of dark, of course that's the way it's going to look.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if you listen to the descriptions, like the authentic, if you listen to the authentic descriptions of like early Mothman sightings, like, and you really like think about Sandhill Crane in your mind and like think of how they described what they saw a Sandhill Crane. They fucking saw a Sandhill Crane.
Exactly. Like if I showed a Sandhill Crane to my father, if one landed in his backyard, he'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Speaking of Sandhill Crane in Chicago, did you see the fucking turtle video?
Oh yeah, the big chonker.
Yeah, the fucking stabbing turtle.
Well, and God. that's closer to another local cryptid, which is the beast, the Busco, which is Northwest Indiana, mind you. But that was just a giant snapping turtle that lived out that way.
Yeah, this is a big turtle. And there wasn't there's a wolfman in Illinois too, right? Isn't there?
Yes, the wolfman of Mount something or other. It's up in the northwest corner.
Yeah, there was like a werewolf or something.
Yeah, so it's a werewolf.
Do werewolves count as cryptids?
I don't think so. I don't like the idea. Okay, so in my opinion, a werewolf is someone who is a man who transforms into a wolf. If it's just a wolf man, that's a wolf man. That's not a werewolf.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, is it a wolf man or is it a werewolf? And what if there's wolfmen and werewolves?
Well,
do they hate each other?
The specific Illinois one, I believe they called the werewolf.
I see.
So if I know my Illinois cryptids well enough, it's like
I'm also willing to bet that a bunch of cryptids that exist were bears that people saw.
Well, that's what I said. Our brains aren't handled to deal with bears. Well,
specifically bears walking on 2 feet. Because have you ever seen a bear walking on 2 legs? Like actually walking around on 2 legs, not standing, but like actually walking. They look fucking freaky as shit. There's a couple of videos of a bear that was walking around a suburban neighborhood on its hind legs, and like it's really off-putting how it moves.
I looked it up. It's the Wolfman of Chestnut Mountain. Yeah. So they do say Wolfman. However, I still think the one that I saw says werewolf. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I mean, technically, like, see, there's a lot of crossover that because I mean, the first big werewolf movie was The Wolfman.
It's true.
And he was a werewolf. Like, it doesn't get any more traditional werewolf than the first werewolf movie.
Brought a dog to the party.
He brought a dog to the party. All right, who brought the dog?
But yes, the let's see, the Wolfman of Chestnut Mountain, not to be confused with the Dogman of McHenry. There was a 2010 encounter between an Illinois behavioral psychologist and the beast. So it was as close as 12 years ago up in Galena. Mm-hmm. Which if you're up in Galena and you're not high as shit, you're doing it wrong. Not to say that Galena is a great place to get high. It's just that there's nothing else to do in Galena but get high.
It's true. It's like Berwyn.
Berwyn. No, there's plenty to do in Berwyn. You can go to Freddy's Deli out in Berwyn. It's delicious. So let's get back to some gaming stuff real quick. They did release the new warband for Warcry, going back to what we talked about earlier,
is with the doggies.
You could find, we're getting so much closer to having an all dog army.
The dream of the fully dogged out army.
Because no one could kill a dog in the army. Like, yeah, if you kill the dog while you're playing your opponent's army, you're just you're going to hell. You lose the moral high ground.
It's true. You lose the moral high ground instantly.
Yes. I believe it's a -3 modifier to your combat.
They're very cute. I'm definitely getting that box set. Like, I believe my final Age of Sigmar army is likely going to be Cities of Sigmar, I think
that they're not actually releasing the box separately. It'll probably be in a 2-player box set, and then it'll be released in a single box set. So you'll get the 2 warband box set first.
Yeah.
So it'll be them and something else, and then after that box is discontinued, you'll be able to get the stuff separately.
That seems likely.
Yeah, it's a beautiful set. Beautiful all around.
It's nice. I mean, I like Warcry. Like I say, I got nothing negative to say about Warcry. I think it's a great game.
Yeah, the only negative thing I have to I think that the card system is not the greatest because they have to redo the rules so often.
That is such a huge problem with card-based things that I think a lot of like, I mean, obviously War Machine was the big one, like that showed that like there's a huge flaw with that design idea.
Yeah, there's a huge flaw designed with it.
Yeah, I think that the key is you got like to be able to make cards work permanently, you either have to make them form fillable where you write shit in, or you make it like Battletech Alpha Strike where there's generic cards, but all the cards are made with a point calculator, because you can still make your own mechs in Alpha Strike, but the way it is, it's really easy because you just pick the mech you want, you push some buttons on their website, and it makes you a card, and it has a points cost that's balanced out. So that's like super easy to do, and then there's no and you don't have to like think about like heat sinks or anything, and it's perpetually balanced because everyone's using the same math to make their mech.
Yeah, I like the idea, but I think one of the things Games Workshop really has to embrace is all point costs are just available online. Like, that's what it's got to come down to. Like, yes, major changes like errata and stuff like that, you could do that online, but the point costs should all be online, because that way you have instantaneous change to like fix and nerf certain things that are breaking your game.
Putting points costs on a card, bad idea, because that's the first thing you're going to change when you're balancing.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's just how I see it. It's like you're going to screw it up if you're gonna.
It's just the way it is.
If you release a card, you're gonna screw it up.
Yeah, I mean, you almost cannot. I mean, there's always going to be cases where like something is too strong, so you need to increase the points, or something is too weak, so you want to decrease the points, because that's the first way to try balancing before you actually change the rules of the unit. Like, and that's what they do with it. You can see that's how they balance a lot of stuff with Age of Sigmar, and in many cases it works. In many cases, it's like, yeah, this unit sucks. It's like, oh, but they dropped it by like 40 points, and now suddenly people are taking it because it's like, oh, it's worth it at 40 points. And it's like, oh, this unit's 60 points higher, so you're not taking 3 units of it anymore. You're going to take 2.
Yeah,
so like that. It's an instant change. And if you put those points on cards, that's instantly going to be like your first update is going to invalidate all your cards most likely.
Yeah, pretty much. So on the Warcry, they're also releasing the new Warcry big box store game, which is Crypt of Blood. So what's interesting about this one is it blood. Yeah, so you're getting the starter set and like how to play. There's not a ton of terrain in it. They're doing an undead theme, and the war bands that they put in there are actually the war bands that they just released for their Nightmare Quest, which was the last big box game that they did, 2-player set. Cool. Yeah, so they're like the full war bands that are in this set. So if the set is under $100, you're already making out on it, because
pretty sweet.
And both of those war bands are pretty great. If you play the Stormcast, they're fine. I mean, they just look like Stormcast. But the undead, the ghouls have the baboons in them. The baboons, and the guy that's dressed like a baboon. So that's pretty cool in my book.
Yeah, they are sweet. They're very cool.
Yeah, they have that game come out. And another big box game that they got coming out, which is kind of impressive to me, is they're releasing another version of Combat Arena. This is the third set like that. The first one was the Gore Chosen.
I actually do recommend that game. It is actually surprisingly quite fun.
Gore Chosen is an amazing game. I have a sealed copy that I plan on breaking open someday and painting because it's such a fun game.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by how much I ended up liking that game.
The second combat arena was the one with the unique characters for 40K. It was a sci-fi version of it.
And it had the big the amble, what do they call those things?
No,
big,
not yet.
No, not yet.
That's the newest one, the Lair of the Beast.
Okay.
Has the amble in it, but what it also has is it's got the full set of characters from Blackstone Fortress. Like it's the full sprue of all of the characters from Blackstone Fortress. So that is super cool. Like if you missed out on that. And the Amble, which was only released briefly for Blackstone Fortress, and not a lot of people got it.
Yeah, so and the Necromunda one's different, if I remember correctly, too.
Yes, the Necromunda one is mechanical. It's like a robot.
Ribbit.
Yeah, so they actually are releasing. You're going to be able to get the actual copy of the Amble, not the rules and stuff that are from the actual game, but I mean, you could probably get those anywhere. Mm-hmm. But you can finally get your hands on the Amble model, which is insane. And if that is also like a $60 game, that's another fantastic buy.
Yeah, another huge value.
Yeah, ridiculously huge value. And then they're releasing another Underworlds box set, which is weird because they just released one recently, which is like, why are they re-releasing it with different stuff? But whatever, I don't really care too much about that. The fact that Underworlds is still running right now is insane to me.
It's very surprising. I'm not gonna lie, very surprising. Although I guess actually no, I should take that back. It's not as surprising because of the changes they've made to the game. It's no longer surprising me that it's still going.
Yeah,
because they really made that game where like you can like they took away the biggest flaw that the game had, which was the same flaw that the LCGs used to have. Like it's like, oh, you want to play this game? Okay, well, the buy-in, yeah, it's not actually a starter set. The buy-in is actually, $550. Yeah. But like now the buy-in is actually a starter set or a warband because you get all the cards that you need in one shot.
Yeah. They've also been releasing a lot of information about Epic. Like a ton of information.
And terrain. They have unveiled quite a bit of terrain for Epic scale. Like actually kind of a lot. I was kind of surprised.
Well, isn't most of that the terrain that they talked about from the Titanicus set?
There's more. They're doing scaled down 40K terrain too. Like the one that's like it's like the pipe city with like it's got like a bunch of like shipping crates and shit, and then like
that's
they're
cool.
they're making it an Imperialis scale one of that, which I thought was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that actually is pretty cool. Now that I'm looking at it, I didn't actually see this, and they got the terrain boards too. I was talking with one of my friends from overseas, and he was saying like how his gaming group is going to go all in. He's thinking that it's going to be everyone out in his area is going all in on Epic.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen out here. I don't think so.
We'll see. There's an issue in our area where people jump on games like really hard and then it's just gone. Like because there was that one game that came out not too long ago. It had really nice models. It was a big arena fighting game. With like the figure scale was very big, and
not Arena Rex.
No, not Arena Rex. The figures were bigger. It was very fantasy. There's like a big troll and stuff. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was called like Titan Arena or something. I can't remember. But regardless that I can't remember the fucking name of the goddamn game, there was like when it came out, dude, there were people fucking like at the FLGS, there was an absolute fuckload of people playing it. Like I could not believe how many people were playing it. And then like within a month and a half, no one was playing the game. It was just gone. It was just like, what the fuck?
Is it Titan the Arena?
that might be it. Actually.
I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Colossal Arena.
But
it's a board game.
The reason I think it might actually not be the case with this game is simply because it the IP is just so strong. Like
yeah,
the 30K IP. Also, the figures look very good. Like
Yeah.
they were very smart at scaling up the minis or the infantry.
Oh, the game will look amazing at that scale. I've already seen a bunch of people do 8mm armies that they've done. They've new epic armies, and it just looks great all around.
Yeah, so it should end up looking pretty good. So I think this one might end up being this one might be doing. Plus, anyone dissatisfied with 40K, you got an easy swap.
Yeah.
Like if you're dissatisfied with 10th edition 40K, you got one. You got a really good looking game right here.
It's still too early. You need like a year and a half, and then people will be done with it.
The only thing I don't know. It's just I am interested to see how long it sustains. I mean, 30K is still going because there's so much variance, but like, is there going to be that much variance in Imperialis is the question. Like the only reason 30K can exist being just Space Marines fighting Space Marines is because like the armies are similar enough that the game is pretty balanced, but the differences give you an actual reason to be like, I'm playing an Ultramarines army and it feels different than playing a Night Lords army.
Very true.
So we'll see.
It's just that, Chicago's a 40K town. Like everybody plays 40K.
A 40K town. For a second, for a hot minute, we were a War Machine town.
We were. That was like that hot minute between 6th and 7th edition of 40K.
Yeah.
It was right after 6 kind of like shit the bed and 7th came in. And then everyone was like, oh my God. And then there was then 7th kind of like turned into everyone has the same army. And then 8th edition came quickly after that. All right. One last thing I wanted to talk about is the Horror on the Orient Express board game.
Very exciting.
Yes, we have not talked about it on the podcast yet. Steve, as everyone knows, Steve and I are big Lovecraftians. We like most stuff Chaosium does too, with Call of Cthulhu. And now they're releasing, this is actually through Chaosium, they're releasing Horror on the Orient Express board game.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm interested to see it. Like, so without sight unseen, I'm probably going to back it. So there would need to be some serious turnoffs for me not to do it. There could be many. I don't know because I don't know what the game's going to look like. If there's a fuck ton of minis, I'm not buying it.
There won't be. There will be some minis. I bet you there will be because it's a Kickstarter game.
Some is fine. Some is okay. A fuck ton is not okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be like necessary minis. I think they're just going to be because, well, remember when we were talking, the game is being run by the same guy who did Nemesis. And did you see, do you know what Nemesis is?
Yeah. It's like the Alien board game.
Yeah, it's essentially it's Alien the board game, but done in a way that whoever owns the license to Alien should have done it.
Yes.
Instead of the shit that they keep pumping out for Alien.
You are correct.
Yeah, it's the same guy. And that game, Nemesis, has a lot of people who love it and a lot of people who hate it because there's a ton of parts to it. It's got so many tokens. It's kind of really token overload.
There's a lot of tokens on that board. I saw like on the board previews, there's a lot of tokens.
And when you think of Horror on the Orient Express, it's kind of similar to like you're on a spaceship and you're dealing with this. You're on the Orient Express and you're dealing with cultists and everything else. So you kind of like, well, it's gonna have a similar look and a similar feel to it. I bet you it almost uses the same engine as well.
We'll see.
Yeah, as I say, my only problem with Nemesis is that there's so many tokens on there, but there's only a few minis though. If you saw it, there's only like, I don't know, like a dozen, maybe.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and they're all really cool. But the Horror on the Orient Express, there's probably going to be like some NPCs, some hero figs, whatever. It's probably not going to be too bad. But
we'll see.
I'm also going to back it. I think it's going to be good. In Chaosium, they put out their last Kickstarter, which was for the first edition box set, which is gorgeous.
Oh, it's such a good box set.
You know what my problem with it is? It's too big
Ready.
to fit on a standard bookshelf.
You are correct. I had to lay mine down in a weird way on mine.
Yes. So and they also did. I wish I had gotten in on the Horror on the Orient Express Kickstarter when they did it back in the day, but I had missed it. I was still a little shy on Kickstarters back then. I don't know. I give them my money and I hope that they give me stuff.
I mean, I've been burned on several Kickstarters.
So
I
have
haven't
I.
had any explosive blowouts, but I've had some bad ones.
I mean, back when Super Dungeon Explorer, that one at the time was a blowout, but at this point in my life, I'm like, whatever. I've spent more money on dumber shit.
Yeah.
I just bought 3 Warcry box sets. Come on.
It's true.
Yeah, so that's all the news.
Didn't that, if correct me wrong, didn't that Super Dungeon Explorer shit eventually show up though? Like, didn't
No.
it just like come out of nowhere? No.
No, they every once in a while they'll put something out on it, which is weird. So you'll be like, they'll like give an update, and you're like, what the hell?
That's so weird.
Yeah, I think that they do that so that Kickstarter doesn't kick them off Kickstarter, if that makes sense.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, so like if you go so long without delivering and like giving your people updates, you can't put up another Kickstarter.
Got it.
And they want to keep putting up Kickstarters.
The biggest one that I was really upset about is the X Studio. That was the one that was the most unfortunate. Or Studio X. Was it Studio X? It was a painting like studio in a little box, and like it had slots for you to put like a wet palette and like paints and like tools and stuff, and it was literally like a little box, and it was like a paint station that you could set up, paint, break down, and store, and like that's something that would be very useful for me. So like I'm less annoyed that like I lost the money, and I'm far more annoyed that I don't have the product, because I really wanted the actual item, because like I thought the product itself looked great, and there's no like, I can't be like, well, I'll just buy it from this alternative, because there is no alternative. So that was one that burned me, that I'm exceptionally upset about. Again, not because of the losing money, because I feel like I'm sometimes one of the only fucking people on the planet who understands that your money is a risk when you throw it into a Kickstarter. It is a fucking gamble. It is not a guarantee. So that part, way less upsetting to me, because I know it's a gamble. I'm more upset that this product is not going to exist, because I really wanted it.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, the last update for Super Dungeon Explorer Legends was actually from 2021, so it's been 2 years.
Yeah, the same thing for. Oh no, I have a 2022 update on mine.
Ooh,
so take that.
Yeah,
June though, so it is more than a year ago.
It has been more than a year ago. Yeah, I'm just like, if it ever gets delivered, I'll be shocked, sir, shocked. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right. So do you have anything that we need to talk about?
The Planescape slipcase looks fucking cool.
Oh yeah, the only problem with those is that it needs to be a box set.
Hey, at least they're not calling it a box set. They are calling it a slipcase.
Yes, as opposed to the cheapo the Dragonlance one that I got.
Yeah, you got hosed by Hasbro, huh?
I don't know if we talked about this on the cast. Did we?
We didn't talk about it on the cast. We talked about it on Facebook.
Maybe, yeah. But I got the Dragonlance box set like relatively cheap, because it was a damaged corner. It was like the corner was a little bent, so I didn't really care that much. But when you can't open it up like a normal box, it has like a pull tab open. So once you pull the tab open, you can't close the box. It's really dumb.
That is horrible.
Yeah, and the box is cheap too. It's not a very well designed box. And the game inside, the Warriors of Kryn game, it feels kind of cheap, which is very surprising. But
well, I would say that because the productions was shifted away from Wizards of the Coast and to Hasbro, That's the only comment I'll make on that.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I mean, I'm not doubting you. It just it board game feels cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Planescape one looks really sweet. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, no, it looks like a good slipcase. That was the only other big like gaming thing. I think we already talked about. I mean, in case I didn't mention it, in case anyone was wondering, the Lord of the Rings Magic set was a
Oh yeah, we talked about that last time.
monster smash hit. Okay, very good.
Yeah, a forklift driver found the One Ring.
Yep, that's pretty great though. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan that happened.
Yes, it wasn't some spoiled. What I could see is like think about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka, but instead of like Veruca Salt yelling at her dad, it's some like Twitch streamer who just opens up packs of magic going, "I want the ring. How come I can't have the ring, Daddy?"
Yes, I was glad that the guy who bought $500,000 worth or whatever and opened them on stream did not pull the ring.
Yeah, or what's not Veruca Salt, but like
Augustus Gloop.
Yes, Augusta. That would be the next one. Some just fat guy farting in the store, opening pack after pack, heavy breathing. I found one ring. He just eats it. Eats it alongside his pickle chips. Or whatever the British eat, vinegar and pickle chips.
Yeah.
I
actually like salt and vinegar chips though.
Well, yeah, they're fine every once in a while, but they're not like it's the height of cuisine, hot cuisine.
Well, I mean, it's garbage food. I mean, I mean that's the thing that's funny. Is like I mean, how often do you see like heated food debates and then like just sit like that's why I think they're humorous. But it's like every time there's a heated food debate, universally it's always about just trash food. It's just about garbage. It's about stuff that like you should not be eating.
My favorite is now that the menu has come out. Whenever someone shits on American cheese, you just go, nope, superior meltability. It's like instantly, like you see every European just like their face just get very upset.
It's fucking not wrong. It is the proper cheeseburger cheese. Like
I have always said that it's I think it's the proper melting cheese. If you're putting a melty cheese on anything, that's the way to go.
Yeah, the cheeseburger and grilled cheese. I'm a huge fan. I think American cheese is correct for that. It's because like the fact that American cheese has that like almost no flavor. It works perfectly when you melt it onto something delicious.
Yeah, it's like you get those hipsters who are like, I got 15-year-old aged cheddar on this burger. And it's like, it doesn't melt. It crystallizes. It doesn't melt. Don't put that on a burger, you idiot.
If you have really nice cheese, why are you fucking putting it on a goddamn hamburger? You should be eating it as cheese.
They stack up those cheeseburgers. They're too high to eat. It's a whole mess. Our civilization deserves everything that it has gotten so far in the last 5 years.
We're all doomed.
We're doomed.
And it's because of the cheese.
It's everything. It's everything. We did this to ourselves. All right. Go to the Game Classy Facebook page. It's the best way that you can get access to our Game Classy what's it called?
Discord?
Discord, thank you. I was calling it a subreddit. It's not. It's Discord. Our Discord, where we are actually active and yell at people and make fun of the British for their chips. Chips, Steve. Chips.
All right.
You could also like, comment, subscribe on iTunes and like, comment, subscribe on the YouTubes. That's where I also put the stuff up there. If you're more interested in seeing some of my painted minis, you can go to my Instagram at GameClassyJoe. If you want to see any of Steve's painted minis, you have to get invited to his house and he'll give you a private tour.
It's true. Or you can ask me and I'll send them to you on Discord.
You just see it on Discord.
I could send it to you on Discord if you'd like.
I think you would be better off inviting them in while wearing like a Vincent Price robe and going, yeah, come see my minis.
I mean, I want to do that, and now I really want to do that, and I think I might get a Vincent Price robe for myself just so I can do that. Be like, yes,
my nephew Charity.
Please come in. I'm really, really excited about these new Stormcast models I just finished.
Oh, Vincent Price's Warhammer.
Yes, that's right. Welcome, welcome, boils and ghouls.
Maybe that's what you so I really want to start doing actual mini game reviews, because on YouTube all of the mini game reviews that I've seen are just miserable. And I would like to do it like Shut Up and Sit Down, which I enjoy their reviews of stuff, but I would like to show it as more of like, this is why this game is good, as opposed to this is how you play the game, or this is an overview of the rules. I don't care. I care about that, but I would much rather see like, hey, this is bolt action. This is why you would like bolt action. This is why you would not like bolt action, kind of thing. And I don't see that often with miniatures games. Because I got a ton of rule sets, and I would like to, and I've gone over a lot of them, and I'd like to be able to talk about that. But maybe I'll do it in Vincent Price robe.
You should.
That's what I'll come back to.
Today we're going to be talking about Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game.
Well, no, I don't want to do board games. I want to do mini games. So I'd be like,
just minis game? Okay.
we're going to be talking about Conflict 47.
I see. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 does actually look pretty good. The board game, by the way. If anyone's a Heroes of Might and Magic fan, the board game actually looks pretty cool.
Should have called it Conflict 86, because that's what it was. 86. What?
Oh.
Yeah. Aren't they? No, they're using Antari stuff in something or other.
Oh yeah, Mantic.
And Mantic's using it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're using it in Firefight.
Yeah.
Their 40K game.
Mantic.
Yeah. You know, I was looking at some Mantic stuff the other day, and like Mantic is such an interesting option for minis, because like I swear they have like the most, because they've never, as far as I know, they've never really retired any kits. They have the most inconsistent quality, or not, maybe not quality. They have the most inconsistent like appeal of miniatures for any army. Everything, like you look at like their older stuff versus like their new goblins, and it's just like, I think you need to update these elves, bro.
Exactly. All right, Steve, we're running out of time. So until next time.
The Dovahkiin theme is named One They Fear. It's not the Skyrim theme. It's not the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim original theme. It's not the Dovahkiin theme. The song title is One They Fear.
Fuss Roda.
Game classy.